Welcome to Laptop Radio. Today's topic is on year in review for cryptocurrency 2021. We have Tony back with us to share. Hello, Tony. How are you?
Hey, Michelle. It's good to hear from you.
Yes, I'm excited about being in California.
It's good to be here. True. Yes. But let me start off by letting the audience know that I'm not a financial advisor. None of anything I talk about is financial advice. I'm just talking about my own opinions, and it's for entertainment and educational purposes. Quick disclaimer.
I'm not providing investing, tax, or legal advice as well. Wanted to review cryptocurrency for this year. I'm really excited about this topic and I'm looking forward to it. Tony, what is new this year?
Oh, there's so much that's new. So it's hard to tell where to start. So the price of Bitcoin is up, but let's talk a little bit about what happened. I guess we got Michael Saylor. He started off the year very nicely by purchasing a ton of Bitcoin, and he's ended the year so far by also purchasing a ton of Bitcoin. He's up to what, 1,434 Bitcoins.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. And he got them at an average price of about $57,000 per Bitcoin now. That means he currently has 122,478 Bitcoins. That's worth about $3.6 billion.
Wow.
That was worth $3.6 billion at the start of the year. I don't know what it's worth now.
Wow.
It's like double now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's been buying all through the year. And at the start of the year, the price of Bitcoin, it started off around what, $29,000 a Bitcoin. And it actually started last year. Last year was a low because it's actually buying around $10,000. But the low was around 5,000 last year, around, what was it, April or so, around April 15th. But then it started this year at about 20, went from 5 to 20, which is a huge gain. And this year it went up as high as 63,000, again, about April or so. It dropped back down. Everyone thought it was the end of the world. And when it dropped back down, it went down to 29,000. If you went down to the bottom and you sold at the bottom, but you bought at the start of the year, you wouldn't have lost any money. But now we're up around 50,000. It had two runs to 64,000 or so. And most people are saying this is not the end of the Bitcoin price.
Yes, last year everything was near zero. And then just all of a sudden this year, everything just increased out of the blue.
Yes, yeah, that's typically what Bitcoin does. It actually goes up for no apparent reason. There's really no news that sparks the Bitcoin price going up, but there is this thing called the halving. A lot of people think the halving has something to do with it. But usually it starts dumping because everyone's lost all hope. And then occasionally one person or a big player starts to buy. And in the case of Michael Saylor, he announced his buy. He didn't even just say, I'm buying. He said, I'm buying $1 billion. Actually, he said he's buying $500 million worth to start with. And that got a lot of people interested. And then people said, oh, okay, you bought at 10,000. It's gone to 15. It's no big deal. It'll come back down. Then other people started buying. Big players started buying. We found out that JP Morgan and various other institutions were starting to buy and accumulate Bitcoin. And that brought the price all the way up to 30,000 by the start of the year. And it just kept going, right? And it kept going to 63. And that's when you had some profit taking, basically. It went sideways. This year, I think, is more of a sideways year. It went up by 100%. And for most markets, like for stock markets, that would be considered phenomenal. But for Bitcoin markets, it's more of a ho-hum. So people are thinking the cycle's still not over yet. Typically, it'll go up 10x at least, 2x. People are thinking there's still a lot more room left in the market for it to go up. It actually hit a floor of 30,000. It didn't go anywhere below that. And that's why it's heading upward. Right now, there's this thing called the Santa Claus rally that a lot of people talk about. At the end of the year, typically you've got tax selling and all that, but you get rid of your losses. But between Christmas and New Year, everyone who's planning to sell, they've already sold. But and a lot of Wall Street and a lot of all the big players are on vacation. People start buying like crazy. And the Santa Claus rally typically starts around now and keeps going generally till about February or so. Yeah, you'll see massive price increases. At the start of the year, at the start of 2021, we had a Santa Claus rally in certain stocks, like the meme stocks. We had GameStop. It went from like $16 all the way up to $480. And probably from $16 to $100 was part of the Santa Claus rally. But the rest of it was all just because people started buying like crazy. They were seeing the price go up. There were rumors of a short squeeze. There were rumors of the fact that people couldn't get out from their short positions. There were actually rumors that it was short greater than 100%, like 140%. Turned out most of those rumors were true. It was short over 100%. That's why the price went up. And people went on CNBC talking about things like this. Was Thomas Peterfly, International Brokers. Yeah. He basically said that he was actually afraid the whole market was going to break then. It was around late February, because he said at that point there were more people who were short and underwater, or there were more shorts and underwater than there were shares that you could buy. At that point, the shorts would have to buy shares that didn't exist, which means that they would have to drive up the price to beyond astronomical levels. 480 was just a small part. But anyway, it got up to like 350 by the end of the day, but it got as high as 480. Then it dropped back down to under $40. $40 was kind of a magic price for me, because I didn't catch GameStop as it went up, but I caught it on the way down. And I picked some up around $40. I was like, well, should I buy this? Should I not buy this? I wasn't sure at the time, but I figured I would just throw some money at it, see what happens. Well, in less than a week, it got to $100. And then it just kept going up to about 350 or something like that. Yeah, it was phenomenal. You had people like Elon Musk, he was saying game stonk, and he was referring to the Wall Street Bets crowd, which is what actually drove the price of GameStop. There were about 10 million people on this Reddit community called Wall Street Bets. They drove the price of GameStop up to astronomical levels because they bought and they wouldn't sell. And they said, doesn't matter what the price is, they're not going to sell. And the price started going up phenomenally. That actually hurt a lot of hedge funds that were short GameStop, because when you short something, you sell something that you don't have, hoping to buy it back later at a cheaper price. A lot of these hedge funds, they shorted GameStop at about $4. They got $4 for the stock that they sold, and they were hoping to buy it back for like $2 and $1. But then the price of the stock went up to $480. They had huge margin calls, or potential huge margin calls. One company, I think it was called Melvin Capital, they had to get a $15 billion line of credit from Citadel just so they wouldn't go under. The reason they got their line of credit is because if they went under, it would trigger a domino effect, a whole bunch of other hedge funds that they would also be forced to cover their short positions. And the price of GameStop could literally hit the tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, because the stock didn't exist. These guys would be forced to buy something that they cannot buy. And there would be a huge potential round of bankruptcies. That was a huge thing. That might have overshadowed the crypto market. A lot of the people who bought GameStop also, if you looked at that Reddit crowd, they also owned a ton of cryptocurrencies. And a bunch of people were getting their stimulus checks at that time. They were seeing the price of GameStop go up. They said, screw this, I'm going to spend my entire stimulus check on buying GameStop. And that's what people did.
What are some of the other coins or cryptocurrency that we should mention besides Bitcoin? What is the updates for Ethereum this year? It seems like it went up, and some people think that it's going to go up to 10,000.
Yeah, Ethereum did really well. And Ethereum may be a slight victim of its own success. So Ethereum went up a lot because a lot of people started buying NFTs.
Yep.
People were using NFTs. So some people wanted to trade art, they wanted to buy art. And NFTs are a form of getting art and getting custody of art, or digital custody of art. NFTs were huge this whole year. Everyone was going off and buying NFTs. People were creating art and then taking digital representations of that art and then destroying the original. All you had left was the NFT. If you wanted a piece of the art, you had to get the NFT. And NFTs were going skyrocketing. It went up so much that companies were basically saying, hey, we'll custody your NFT for you, and you can take a loan against your NFT. DeFi was also going up, distributed finance. DeFi was going up like crazy. NFTs were going up like crazy. The whole financial economy around crypto and Bitcoin was doing really, really well. Unfortunately, caused the price of gas fees, which are the fees that you pay to transfer your NFTs back and forth, to go up. And they started going up like crazy. Gas fees, people had stuff that they didn't want to trade because the fees were just too high. But that was causing a damper on the market. But that also causes innovation. We have layer 2 protocols that got developed or were being developed or are in the process of being developed that will lower those gas fees. One of them is Loopring. Loopring came out and they said, hey, look, we're going to lower gas fees with Ethereum with our layer 2 protocol. And Loopring, actually, they got funded by GameStop. The price of Loopring went up like crazy. Wow. The whole Loopring coin started taking off. We get innovation in the market, and that innovation results in an overall bigger crypto market. I don't think Ethereum's done yet. I think Ethereum's got a ways to go. 10,000 is not a crazy price for Ethereum, to be honest.
Yeah, and besides the gas fees challenge, there's also the energy challenge. And as a result of that, clean energy became popular. We see Flow and other companies like Tezos that were preferred because of
Mhm,
their stance in the environment.
mhm. Overall, the energy in crypto is actually cleaner than most people think, because the energy that's used to mine crypto has to come from the lowest price sources. And the lowest price sources are typically places where you have energy, but you can't transmit it anywhere. It might be at an oil well that's not hooked up to the grid, places like this. It might be at a hydro plant that has excess power. All of these places with excess power and stuff, people wind up actually putting Bitcoin mining farms there. They put small Bitcoin miners there. They mine Bitcoin based on energy that would otherwise be thrown away. Crypto mining is actually pretty energy efficient, I think. However, there was a push for clean energy, and the clean energy market started taking off as well too. Canada is doing this thing with carbon capture. There's a carbon capture tax taking place in Canada. If you get carbon capture, you can trade the carbon capture credits. A lot of people are using those carbon capture credits with Bitcoin as well too. Actually, there are oil companies that have started doing Bitcoin mining, which is crazy. They're actually putting Bitcoin miners on their oil rigs. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. Clean energy is a big deal.
I love the innovation.
It's just started. There was a company that recently bought a biodiesel plant out in Nevada. I think they spent 30 million, but they think it's worth about 300 million or something like that because of the amount of biodiesel that they create. So it's renewable diesel. And it's basically from all the stuff restaurants would throw away, like oil and fat and stuff like that. And they just reprocess that and they make fuel out of it. Instead of that stuff going up into the atmosphere, it gets reused. It's pretty cool.
All the meme coins. I feel like
And
there's Doge and then there's Shiba. And for some reason,
mhm,
Shiba got listed on Coinbase
mhm.
and it went up to really close to Dogecoin in terms of the ranking on CoinMarketCap. Why are meme coins so popular?
Well, people like them. It's easy for people to get into a meme. When people want to get into crypto, the first place they're probably going to go to is a meme coin because it's not too expensive. It's easy for them to get into. It's cute. And once you get listed on Coinbase, that's a huge on ramp. Everyone loves to just buy their crypto on Coinbase. I have a Coinbase account. A ton of people that have them. I used to tell people Coinbase is the easiest way to buy crypto. Now I believe it's the second easiest way. The easiest way is if you have a stock brokerage account, you just buy Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. You can buy Bitcoin that way. But if you want crypto in its pure form, you go to Coinbase, open up a Coinbase account. They have all the various wallets, and you just transfer US dollars in, and voila, you got a wallet that's worth something. Coinbase also IPO'd this year. That was a phenomenal thing that happened. They started off the year around $400 per share in Coinbase, and they dropped down to about 200 or so, but they're probably around $300, I think, somewhere around there. If you believe crypto is going to go up, Coinbase will probably go up as well too, dramatically, because they're one of the easiest on ramps to it.
Yeah. As long as people don't get too sophisticated and use their own MetaMask accounts and other wallets, then there's
Oh
always
yeah.
a centralized exchange.
Oh yeah, Coinbase is just easy. Yeah, there are other exchanges that you can do all sorts of fancy things with. Get coins you can't get access to on Coinbase. But generally, once a coin makes it to Coinbase, the price of that coin just starts taking off like crazy.
Yeah. What else is significant this year?
I think the meme stocks are a phenomena that started and didn't really go away yet. A lot of people basically said the meme stocks came, that they were basically GameStop. It was followed by AMC. A lot of people were like thinking, oh, okay, this meme phenomena is over. But now you've got something like over 11 million people or so talking about stocks on the Reddit forum. Gary Gensler, who's head of the SEC, he's come out saying that people can talk about stocks as much as they want on the Reddit forum. This is freedom of speech. Congress held hearings about the meme stocks. I think that's going to keep going for the next year or so. The GameStop phenomena probably is not over yet, but there's strong evidence. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing about the meme stock. If you go on the Reddit forums, you find more information about a stock than you would find anywhere else. These guys have like what, drones that they fly at night looking at the companies that they're investigating, that whole thing. You'll get live drone footage. Where else can you find info like that? Unless you're a multimillionaire, you wouldn't have access to any of that. But now it's all available online. A while back, you and I were part of VLab and this social finance thing. And I think that the whole Reddit meme stocks are basically social finance to the nth degree now. There's more power that the individual person has in terms of knowledge about stocks than he's ever had before in the past.
Yeah, I think the rise of cryptocurrency is also a awesome learning experience for the masses in
Oh
terms of
yeah.
learning what security is. It's kind of funny because it's
Yeah.
almost like Legos for people who want to invest and for the normal investors.
Yeah. And it's not just people who are getting involved in crypto now. Apparently, El Salvador this year, they're recognizing it as a currency
Mhm.
and they're encouraging trading. And actually, they acquired some crypto and they're using the profits from crypto to fund education and hospitals in El Salvador. That's a huge positive there. It's hit a lot of the world right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's very amazing. And I think it gives cryptocurrency a decree like never before. Cryptocurrency has legitimacy and is recognized. How about the rise of stablecoins? Let's talk about stablecoins. I feel like that is also important as well to share with the government and different government agencies looking at stablecoins and some of the challenges around there, and innovative companies are using stablecoins in a different way
Mhm.
because you can earn interest with stablecoins now, which is really different from before.
Yeah, stablecoins help with DeFi. That's the whole thing. For those who don't know, stablecoins are coins that are basically pegged to the US dollar. Hence, you've got coins like USDC. A long time ago, you still do. You have Tether. You can actually sell your Bitcoin and get stablecoin, or you can actually deposit your Bitcoin and take a stablecoin loan and then pay back the stablecoin over time. And you don't ever have to have sold your crypto. Stablecoins have made a huge amount of progress. The danger of stablecoins, though, is that Congress and the Fed really is looking at stablecoins. They recently had the stablecoin
Yeah.
hearing in Congress about that.
Yeah, I was there, listen to the hearing. I mean, they identify a few items. Of course, the governments are afraid of money laundering and the ease of use of stablecoins and educational aspect, expecting the masses to actually understand stablecoin and be able to use it. I sense a lot of fear in a lot of the hearings, but at the same time, there's innovation. People are learning how to use Ethereum and MetaMask
Mhm.
to purchase NFTs. And more able to learn that, would they be able to understand stablecoin? Because that isn't really that hard.
Yeah, obviously would not want to allow stablecoins because it would compete directly with the US dollar. The government also sees that the danger in not allowing stablecoins to progress forward is that they might be left out of the biggest financial revolution in the history of history. you know?
It's history, exactly.
Yeah, they don't want to lose out on those tax dollars that they could get from stablecoins. I think stablecoins will be allowed to go forward, but they will try to regulate it as much as they can.
What is interesting, I've seen just being at United Nations and IMF meetings and hearings. At the beginning, I sense that there's a focus on Bitcoin, and because of its volatility, it was not preferred to use as a currency. I think with stablecoin, the cool thing about it is there's a peg, whether it is an algo or mineral, some kind of
Mhm.
rights, or to a US dollar.
Mhm.
And there's that sense of stability, that comfort, that the price is very similar and almost the same. There's just some rug pull with some of the stable coins earlier this year as well that we've seen, where one of the
Mhm.
coin went to zero. That is the danger of some of the stable coins that are algo based. But yet, in terms of transparency, for those that are pegged by the dollars or minerals like gold and silver and all that, we really don't know what's behind that because the public doesn't have that kind of transparency. There's pros and cons for different kinds of stable coins. The
Mhm.
CBDC is actually working on one, and hopefully with stable coins, they will be able to use that to move funds around the world to have that one currency. What is your thoughts on just really different stable coins though, and allowing people to use different stable coins or different cryptocurrency? Because there's some arguments like, why do we need all different kinds of stable coins? Just as like, why do we need all different kinds of cryptocurrency?
Well, I don't think of a stablecoin as US dollar. I think of it as like your Bank of America or your Wells Fargo. When you take your dollars and you put it into a bank, you trust that that bank will be around. And chances are that bank will be around, right? But having more stablecoins means you have more stability. Most people don't think about it, but when you actually deposit your money into a bank, you are taking a risk that that bank will go bankrupt. Now, there's this thing called FDIC insurance, which protects people against the risk of bankruptcy, but it only protects you about $250,000 per account per person in that bank. If you deposit $1 million into a Wells Fargo account, then that means you're taking a risk that you might lose $150,000 if Wells Fargo decided to go bankrupt, right? Stablecoins, similarly, like you said, they're very, very stable. up until there's a hint of uncertainty. Once the price of a stablecoin drops below like 90%, there's a very strong chance it could go down to zero. But generally, it'll be at like 99.9 cents per dollar or $1.01 per dollar, that kind of thing. They're very, very stable. But once that price starts fluctuating, or if it starts dropping significantly, then people start leaving that entire stablecoin arena. When that happens, it's equivalent to a bank run. That's why sometimes stablecoins are not stable, because they experience the equivalent of a bank run. But in general, as long as they have the funds to back everything up, then that shouldn't be a problem. The thing, like you said, is the fact that there is a lack of transparency. It's hard to tell what gives a stablecoin its value. Generally, what happens is people deposit their cryptocurrencies, and that cryptocurrencies go up in price a lot. When that cryptocurrencies go up in price a lot, you have much more assets than you have liabilities. From the stablecoin banking perspective, the depositing of cryptocurrencies that's an asset that they have, and their liabilities are the coins they issue being worth $1 per coin. If the price of the cryptocurrencies drop dramatically, then the backing of that stablecoin can drop. And that can cause a run on that particular stablecoin bank, is the way to look at it. And then that stablecoin might lose value. But in general, I think that because you have things like USDC, you've got stablecoins even on Coinbase and whatnot, that you're okay with stablecoins. You typically won't make money off stablecoins, but they're not used for making money. They're used for transactional purposes and things like that. They're used for taking loans out and stuff like that.
Yeah. What else became popular? I think all the altcoins have rising prices this year, surprisingly.
Yeah. A rising tide lifts all markets. The big ones were, of course, SushiSwap and things like that. Yeah. So the altcoins will typically rise a lot more than Bitcoin will, because Bitcoin is basically, it's the ocean levels rising, and the stable coins tend to be your local tide. Your altcoins tend to be your local tides in various places. The tides might go up 20, 30 feet in various different places. But in general, the ocean level stays relatively constant and goes up a little bit here and there.
That's true. What else has happened in 2021 that we should speak about?
Let's see. The biggest thing of 2021 is, well, there's a whole bunch of big things, I guess. One of the things that's got people concerned a little bit is the China crisis and Evergrande.
Oh, yeah.
There's this real estate bust that took place through mid 2021 and beyond. Hedge funds and companies that own bonds in Chinese real estate, they lost a lot of money. Evergrande went belly up, and they went partially belly up. What happened was that the Chinese government said, if you're Chinese, then we will refund your money for whatever losses you sustained in Evergrande. But if you were a foreigner, then your money went poof, bye-bye. So a lot of the large hedge funds and a lot of the large institutions that had billions of dollars of Evergrande bonds, they saw those bonds evaporate. And that's currently still happening right now. That's causing people to be concerned about the market. In general, that's not a bad thing, because if you think about it, the US had its housing crisis in 2008. We had a horrible 2008, but we recovered dramatically after that. Chances are they will recover, but it's good to know things don't go up forever. Every now and then they need to correct.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to for 2022?
2022 is going to be a very interesting year. Again, I mentioned the meme stocks. For the first time in my life, for the first time in 10 years, I'm very interested in the stock market, and in particular, the next meme stocks. The reason I had given up on the stock market is I discovered crypto in 2013. I said, crypto is a future. It's going to have the biggest returns than anything else around, and forget everything else at that point. And that's what I did. And crypto has done really well, but it's possible we might see a correction in meme stocks right now, driven by information, actually, as you have millions of people who will converge on a stock, and they will look at it and start talking about it and exchanging information. You now have more information than ever before. Mm-hmm. There are one or two meme stocks that I'm currently looking at that propose to provide huge gains. And they basically came out of following the Reddit crowd and whatnot. For instance, there's one stock that proposes to have a dividend that's about 20 times what their current price is. And I'm like, hey, that's possible crypto gains right then and there. Yeah. I'm looking forward to 2022. I think that 2022 has a lot of stuff going for it right now. Yeah, I think the pandemic may hopefully, start ending by 2022. That's really the biggest story of the whole last 2 years. It's kept everyone in the house, whatnot.
Yeah, the whole metaverse became very hot, surprisingly, in this year as well. I think we haven't really spoken about it. And then after the announcement, all the all the crypto that has to do with metaverse has increased in value as a result of that. Virtual reality became really big this year because were all stuck inside because of the virus. And even in December, I think cases have gone up as a result. That's been really interesting. If people are going outside again, do you still see metaverses or metaverses? It's funny. It's not even a trademarkable name, and this is not.
Probably. Yeah.
So nice. And it's really interesting. Hopefully, I don't know if it's gonna be as popular as this year if COVID is resolved.
I think 2020 caused an inflection to take place. Everyone was stuck in the house for a long time. They were stuck in the house for a year. The result of that is that people bought electronics, and then people found all the cool stuff they could do with electronics. And then they looked at the cutting edge of electronics, which resulted in people looking at augmented reality. And augmented reality is just starting to take off right now. Right now, we have these clunky headsets that we have to wear for augmented reality to look in 3D space and all that. Wouldn't it be better to have eyeglasses like what Facebook showed, that kind of thing? And then you could see holographic images pop up in front of you. That way you don't have to worry about not seeing the rest of the world. You see the rest of the world, but you also see like a virtual something that doesn't exist in the world. You might be looking at a car. You might be thinking, hey, I'm interested in buying this type of car. How much is it worth? You click on your glasses or ask your glasses just how much would this car cost if I were to buy it? And it might pop up cars.com and then show you exactly where to buy the car, how much you can get for it, what the comparable prices are, all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I spent
Yeah.
the entire year doing hibernation,
Mm-hmm.
making it into reality. I didn't foresee IT being so big, but I think there's still a lot of innovation to come. Are there anything that I have not asked you about 2021 that we should discuss?
Oh, Bitcoin futures.
Okay.
That's the other thing. So 2021 saw the first Bitcoin futures ETF that was approved. That's not really a Bitcoin ETF yet, but it's on the road to a Bitcoin ETF. Grayscale, which makes an investment vehicle for Bitcoin, you can buy Bitcoin through Grayscale. They wrote an open letter to the SEC saying, hey, look, you approved a Bitcoin futures ETF. What about a Bitcoin ETF?
Yeah.
A lot of people are waiting for that. Once the Bitcoin ETF comes out, there'll be even more tons of money flowing to Bitcoin.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's a big deal. And yeah, that's mostly about it.
Awesome.
Oh, oil prices are high. JP Morgan has said that oil prices are going to remain high for the rest of 2022, getting to about $120 a barrel. And they think 2023 will be $150 a barrel. And that's part of, I think, the transition that's starting to happen between people going electric with their cars and the fact that people were starting to get back into driving and the economy is starting to restart.
Yeah.
Once the economy does restart, there may be a lack of fuel and a lack of other things that were shut down.
Yeah.
And that may cause certain shortages. The price of oil may go up all back. That's something to keep note of. If you're afraid of oil prices going up, one thing that you could do is invest in oil companies. That's what I did. I was sick to death of going to the gas pump and seeing $5 a gallon per, to put gas in my car. And I said, screw this. I just bought some oil stock. Now I'm like, oh, okay, do whatever you want. I'm like, hey, if the price of oil goes up, I'm perfectly happy now.
Awesome. I have one last question. What is one wisdom that you have for the community?
Things are never as bad as you think they are. And the upside may always surprise you. You never know. When you think that it's the end of the world and everything, chances are it's not the end of the world. When you think it's the best time ever possible, it's probably not the best time ever. Be aware.
Awesome.
That's all.
All right. I have to mention that always do your own research, especially on investments. Just Google them and make sure that you go to a group or a Discord or a Telegram to talk to the founders in the community so that you can get some help. But always remember to use your critical thinking because there are a lot of scam and fraudsters in the space. Always do your own homework.
Always do your own due diligence.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself.
Yes. Okay.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Tony.
Thanks. It's great talking to you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye.